Yes, we know the meeting's being recorded, and you're listening to every damn thing that we say on every platform, even our phones, everything. You know everything.
Hey, wasn't it being recorded before it even told us?
Of course, it was being recorded before it told us.
Non-consensual recording.
Yes. You know what? Hashtag live if you're watching us, and hashtag replay if you catch us on replay. And if you want to watch us, watch us. If you don't, you don't. I don't care either way. So
that's why the show's so great.
You know, I think you are on you're like red ass Austin today. Red ass Austin.
Someone called me fat yesterday.
They called you fat?
Yep. They didn't technically call me fat, but a guy that I work with walked by and I hadn't seen him in a couple months, and he's like, "Gain some weight, Shuck." I was like, "God damn it. I literally been telling myself that, but just got to get."
What's going on with you?
Do
we need to have a conversation?
I don't think that I literally, it's so confusing because I swear I'm in great shape, but as I've gotten bigger, more muscular, my excess skin from my weight loss surgery, it literally just looks weird. Like you took that picture of me the other day and I just look the way I was sitting. And I'm like, when I'm standing straight up, I don't look like that. But when I sit down, I just look I don't know. I just look.
Well, here's the reality.
I got to get that skin surgery.
Everybody that sits down, everyone has rolls.
Yeah, but my excess skin just looks like shit when I sit down.
Exactly. You lost an entire adult, large, extra large male. You lost an entire person. Of course you have excess skin.
I actually lost what I weigh now. I did get down to like 175, and what's crazy is probably like 10 pounds of that was really just excess skin. So I was really down to like 165. And I'm like, that's fucking nuts that I got down that small.
That's a little too small.
Oh, dude, I was looking like a cancer patient. And I was like, I gotta start adding weightlifting. So I've been lifting for like a year now. I was lifting, but not like lifting. You know what I mean? I was doing
you weren't doing
EPF workouts. Not that wasn't shit that got you. I was shredded then.
You came to do the buff Gandhi stuff, which is press things and pull it. We press it and we pull it.
Yes.
We pick heavy shit up and we put heavy shit down.
Yep.
That's what we do. We don't do anything else. We don't do any Tinkerbell jumps. I'm not going to do 10,000 exercises. Okay. A bicep curl and a squat and a deadlift. Okay. That's a great menu of exercises. And then repeat it. Okay. People out there doing 10,000 different exercises, please stop.
Why?
Now I'm on a roll.
What do you think about CrossFit, JB?
All right, here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take you back to 2011. How old were you in 2011?
I was 20.
It's 10 years ago.
Okay, so I was 19.
19 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was 29, I think. Yeah, 29. All right. So I was working for Urban Active, which we sold to LA Fitness. Long story. We don't have to get into that. We could get into that someday, but not today. And we had this concept. It was like, okay, we were going to take some of our old school gyms that have been in existence for a while. We're going to take the playrooms down and we're going to create CrossFit rooms, right? For at the time, this was revolutionary. So basically what we were going to do is we were going to make an Aspire Fitness. We're just going to take the playrooms out and create that turf and barbell, all the stuff, right? So I was like, all right, cool. But if we're going to do this, I need to really figure out what the hell CrossFit is, because I don't know what CrossFit is. So I went to get CrossFit certified. Okay. I've been to church. Okay. Been to a number of churches. Been to churches where people speak in tongues, right?
That's an interesting one, Pentecostal.
CrossFit is kind of like church.
I've noticed. I mean, I've never been to a CrossFit gym, but just the cult of the people that go to CrossFit.
If anybody's ever watched the CrossFit Games, okay, these people have terrible form. Okay, terrible. It's awful. Now, here's the thing. Somebody's going to listen to this. If anyone listens to it, again, we don't care if you do or you don't.
Especially if you watch CrossFit.
But you're going to say, well, now you're attacking me for being a CrossFitter. I'm not. I'm not attacking you for anything. Okay. Well, all I'm saying is the discipline there. It basically CrossFit covers 10 different disciplines, right? Weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, gymnastics, so on and so forth. And it just creates this whole like workout thing, and it's kind of created a cult of people who just like, this is the greatest thing in the world. And yeah, I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, that's great. If you want to be good at exercising, then go to CrossFit. If you want to challenge yourself and you want to do X amount of this in a certain amount of time, you go do CrossFit, right? But when I went to get CrossFit certified, I was like, oh my Lord, this is really what they say it is. I mean, these guys are serious. I mean, absolutely serious. There were 60 people in this class. It cost $1,000 to get certified at the time.
Jeez.
There was $60,000 of revenue in
one day.
In 2 days. It was over
2 days.
In Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to Charlotte, North Carolina. So my opinion is this. If done properly with someone that has the knowledge, that understands that you can't do high repetition, snatches, you shouldn't be doing that. Sorry, nope. Human body doesn't work that way. You want to do a snatch, whatever, but doing 100 power cleans, not a safe idea, in my opinion. But what do I know? Don't know anything, right? Again, want to watch this, watch. If you don't care, right? I just think that there is a level of which we take something that was a great conceptual idea and then bastardize it to the point where it hurts and injures people. So I hope I articulated that well. Now I want to put an asterisk on this, because if you're watching this and you get offended, I'm sorry that I offended you. It wasn't my intention.
I don't think you said anything offensive. If someone's worried, if someone's offended by you being conscious of healthy, functional joints, then you probably need help on some other levels.
Right. If you want to be great CrossFit, you want to be a CrossFitter, then I think you should go and do whatever your heart desires. I myself don't think everything about it is fantastic. So there are some things about it that I do kind of look, oh, well, I can appreciate that. I think
people are definitely in good shape that do CrossFit. It's just like their joints are not going to like them in a long time.
And some of these people that are doing this, I mean, I think they could have transitioned to be a professional athlete in really any discipline that they chose to be, because they're that athletic. And I think that's great. But I think Mrs. Jones, who's 50 years old and is 25 pounds overweight, should not be in a CrossFit class. That's just my opinion.
She needs to learn more functional movements before she starts slinging shit.
Right. Let's learn how to squat. Let's learn how to press. Let's learn how to do this before we start doing snatches. Now, when you have a great CrossFit box, they're gonna make people learn the fundamentals. Okay? Those exist. Those are out there. Okay. There's a couple here in Lexington, or CrossFit 859. They do a great job at making sure these people have the fundamentals before they then get, but then, there's also places that hurt people.
Dude, my shoulder and elbow are already both messed up. If I did CrossFit, I would be destroyed. I already know it would be.
I did it during that class. No, thank you.
I heard this year for your sweat for surgery, you're just going to do CrossFit for 24 hours straight.
It's funny you mentioned this, because I actually was like, I wonder if I could do the rower for 24 straight hours.
Dude, that would be.
Could I get on the rower and do it? Because listen, I don't know if you knew this or not, but like I am like an expert at the rower. I could row all day. I love the rower.
I did it
I
30
don't know
minutes.
why I just did.
Really, I wasn't sore. I was exhausted, but I wasn't like that sore. 30
No,
minutes.
it's not gonna make you sore, but it'll gas you for sure.
Yeah. It's just not, it's not strenuous, but dude, that 24 hours, that would your whole body would
We're
be
not we're not gonna do that. Okay. We're not gonna do that. But
dude, you know what you should do?
that's my opinion.
For 24 hours straight.
What?
You should walk around Lexington for 24
In the
hours.
summer?
No, during
In the summer?
The coldest day of 2021.
I kind of did that.
I know, that's why that was
Already.
so weird how that worked out like that. That was the coldest day of the whole year, literally, so far. And we were walking around.
You know you're in trouble when you look at your water bottle and it's starting to like literally become an ice cube as you're drinking it. You know you're in trouble.
Yeah. If you remember when we were at Starbucks, I spilled that coffee a little bit on me. And when my friend came to pick me up, it was literally frozen on my jacket. And I didn't realize that it had spilled on my jacket and froze like immediately. Hot coffee. It's like nuts.
Absolutely. You know what the saddest thing though was is we saw all those people that were sleeping on the concrete.
Yep. They were like sleeping in the Alfalfa's place.
How do we not take care of these people?
Dude, so in Ashland, there is a huge community of homeless people. I'm assuming it's from Huntington, just a guess, because that's like the only city relatively close that would make there be so many homeless people. But there's like this really, really nice, it's pretty nice, like nonprofit there that does like all this work. It's called the River Harvest. It's called the City, though, is what they call it. And so like you go in there, it's got like a cafeteria, it's got like food, it's got a place to stay, it's got like a shower, it's got all the amenities that someone would need who is not privileged enough to have them. And dude, I still see homeless people in Ashland, and I'm like, there's a fucking center like right down the road, just go to it. Like, what do you? And that's when I'm like, some people just won't get help, man. They just won't. It's just, like, it's the same thing with people trying to lose weight. It's just some people just literally are so stubborn that they're like, I have all the answers. It's like, well, it doesn't fucking look like it.
So I think sometimes what happens is there's a certain segment of the population that wants to be off the grid, right? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, would someone choose this? I think some people would. I'm not saying all. In fact, I think it may be a small percentage, but like, so my dad, we've talked about this because you've got, I think your dad was in Vietnam too, right?
No, but he was in the Gulf Storm.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay. That's right. You're a little bit younger than me. So your dad was in combat. My dad was in combat. So my dad does not talk about this. Okay. And I try not to ask, but what little information I've pieced over the course of 39 years about this whole thing is this. It's like, okay, once we got out of Vietnam, we went to Hawaii and then we went to California and then they let us off the plane and said, here you go. Well, before they let us off the plane, number one, they're like, okay, you got protesters over here all protesting you because you participated in a war that you were drafted, that you either went there or you had to go to Canada or pretend like you're crazy or whatever the case may be. Right. So my dad, said, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. Right. So but one of the things they said,
drafted?
Huh?
Did your dad get drafted or did he volunteer?
He got drafted. So we'll segue because I got to tell this story. I've never told this story live, so I want to tell this because I think this summarizes who my dad is. Okay, so my uncle Larry was younger than my dad. Okay, he decided at 17 that he wanted to enlist in the Marines. So he enlists in the Marines. My dad gets drafted. my Uncle Larry gets injured in combat. He gets his legs shut off. Okay.
Shut
off. While my dad is in, I believe it's basic. It could have been his tech school. I can't remember which one it is. So the rule is if you have a family member injured in combat, to preserve, everyone, the family lineage, you don't have to take an overseas tour. You can serve stateside. And I can't imagine this working this way present day, but in the 60s, during a Vietnam War, during a time where they're drafting people, so they come to my dad and say, okay, here's your orders. You're gonna go somewhere in the United States. And he said, no, I want you to go back there and find my orders for Vietnam. So not only did he get drafted, okay, he also had an out that he could have just done the cushy thing and stayed stateside. But no, he said, nope, go back over there and figure that out and take me to Vietnam. Who would choose that?
I don't know. I literally don't know. Someone with tons of courage.
I mean, I don't know. There's very few things that like impress me, but that has always stuck with me my entire life. Is that's like one of the most impressive things because you had and I don't even think that I don't know what I would do at 19 if you gave me the option, right? You don't have to.
I'm staying in the States,
right?
Just because, just the main reason is because I would just be a conscientious objector. I think war is fucking stupid. The wars we've been in, at least since like World War II, have been stupid, like just nonsense shit. It's money. It's not stupid. We're able to live this great life that we have because of the military-industrial complex. And I thought it was crazy as hell when Donald Trump actually said, we're not pulling people out because it helps our economy. He like literally said that. And no one everyone talks shit about everything that he did and they didn't talk shit about that. And I'm like, that's nuts. But that's like years and years and years of our economy being built upon the war machine that we have. And when people are like, we can't be in wars, I'm like, well, I don't think we're ever not going to be. We haven't pretty much not been in war since we've been a country. Like 98% of the time we've been a country, we've been in some sort of conflict. It's like something nuts like that. It's over 90%. And it's like, it's crazy how much money we actually make off that. It's nuts. So
I know. And unfortunately, the things that I believe in, I cannot say in this platform, okay, because I am there are two things that I've investigated at length, own personal investigation, okay? Now, most people would say my investigation things that I investigated were probably not whatever, but that's your own opinion. But I've investigated two things at length. September 11th, 2001, and Tupac's assassination. Okay. Those two things I could tell you, right? I have my own beliefs. I'm not going to share those here. So I agree with you. I agree with you about, the whole thing. But anyways, that's
what makes it tough to be a patriot. Because I am very patriotic and I really, really love America. But like I would go to war for America if the right thing happened, you know what I mean? To protect the freedoms and rights. But then I'm like, man, but like weapons of mass destruction, like we're over there killing little kids and shit over something that literally didn't even end up being a thing. And we're still there. We've actually been in the Middle East since 2001. That's nuts. And we've actually been there since the 90s. Like, really, we've been there since the 90s. So it's like, as long as I've been alive, we've been at war with the Middle East. And it's literally over oil. So it's kind of sad, man. There's so many people that have died because we're like, we need our oil. But it's like, I don't know, man. I constantly wrestle with the ideology of how privileged I am to live in America and how that's given me an up on human nature. There's a lot of things that we don't have to deal with. And that's why it's so crazy when people like complain about shit. I'm like, you just don't even understand how easy we have it. Like, it's crazy that no one's taken the time to conceptualize the fact that we are the most privileged people in world history, not even just American history, like ever. We have the best technology. We have the best medicine. We have the best means to live. We can order our food to get sent to our house, or we can go get it. Back in the day, they had to literally fucking go hunt that shit down. And now we can just be like, I have options. I don't just have to go hunt. I could go hunt, or I could have it delivered, or I could go pick it up myself, whatever. And it's just like,
okay. All right. So this is a good topic, right? So you have the hierarchy of needs, right? So every human, or the human race, has a hierarchy of needs, right? So shelter, food, etc. So all these things, for the most part, I mean, there's exceptions here in America. We know the atrocities that exist, and we don't need to go into them and have a political debate about why they exist or whatever. But most people's hierarchy of needs are met, right? They've got food at the fingertips. They got a roof over their head. They got health care. It may not be great health care, but you still got it, for the most part, with some exceptions. Obviously, that's why surgery on Sunday exists, etc. All these things. There's always exceptions to everything. But we're the most sick that we've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got 50 million people, at least, the last time I researched it, who are on antidepressant, anti-anxiety drugs. Okay. Furthermore, you have an opioid crisis that is happening not only in the United States of America, but very close to you and I, which is in this state that you and I are both sitting in.
Yep.
State of Kentucky.
It's like the worst.
And we refuse, Kentucky and West Virginia, and we refuse to legalize marijuana because, oh no, that's a gateway drug. Okay.
Those drugs are available even if marijuana is not.
But if you give, but it's so interesting. It's like, in the 90s they banned steroids, right? They made it a class 3 felony to have testosterone, essentially.
That's nuts. That's obviously been
against the American Medical Association's recommendation to not do so, because they knew there were medicinal purposes for having such, right? Okay, so you're going to put that in the same classification as other illegal, substances, and so that was whole part of that war on drugs thing, which did nothing, by the way, completely a failure.
Sorry, Nancy Reagan, that was the stupidest shit ever.
DARE was a complete failure.
So much money wasted.
So much money that we've wasted.
That the war on drugs didn't work because you can buy any drug that you want to in my hometown in West Liberty, Kentucky.
Well, you and I could get on our phones right now and buy whatever it is we wanted to buy.
That's what I'm saying. That just prohibition just doesn't work. Period. End of discussion. It actually creates a stigma. It creates a taboo, which makes people want to do it even more.
My overall point, I guess, before I got on a tangent, is our needs are met for the most part, but yet we're still unhappy, right? And I get into this a lot with my coaching business about, okay, well, happiness is not something that you chase. Happiness is revealed, right? So what I mean by revealed is, okay, it's like having curtains over something. If you have curtains over something, you can't see what's behind it. But if I get rid of the curtains, I can see it. No one has ever been born into this world because you don't know any different. You're born into the world. Kids are naturally happy. They are. And who's never looked at an infant child and just, whether you smiled physically or inside, it's like, oh, that's cute. It just, there's a happiness to it. But when we get to 2 years old or 3 or 4 or whatever, the world starts impacting us, and we have now this expectation. Then that's where this starts, where we have to live up to this, and this. But if you just go to a playground and you watch kids playing with each other, number one, they're not judging each other. They're just playing with each other, right? They don't care what clothes you got on, where you came from, what your last name is, what your first name is, doesn't matter, right? They're just wanting to play and be kids. Why can we not, as adults, if we're really talking about things that we need, is just be happy?
I think it's crazy because as our brain has developed and gotten bigger and gotten more complex, our issues have also gotten easier, but because we found solutions. But our brain is still in that survival mode. So it's like it literally has to create an issue because it's like, this is how I survive. Like, if I'm not stressed, I'm probably dead. I'm assuming the way it looks like it's feeling. It's like, why?
I never thought about that, because if you're 10,000 years ago, you're worrying about where your next meal is going to come from.
Is there a line in that bush over there? Is my food over there? And then that's what we were warriors because of that. It's a survival mechanism for sure. Right. Like some people say, don't go to bed on an empty stomach because your body will literally your brain will literally be like, I'm starving. I need to be awake. There's a problem right now. I'm hungry. And even if you're not hungry, your brain will be telling yourself, because that's just our genetics. It will literally be like, you need to wake up because you can't go to sleep. Like you're going to die if you go to sleep. You don't have food.
And then there's people who will tell you that you're not a doctor by saying that you eat before you go to bed every day of your entire existence, but yet you could have indigestion or whatever, acid reflux.
It's kind of crazy because all these people that have like IBS and stuff like that, I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably connected to your diet, straight up. Like people are like, I got irritable bowel syndrome. It's like, are you eating a lot of fiber? Are you eating a lot of like healthy, nutritious stuff? Are you eating tons of processed foods? Like,
before we get into I think you're onto something. It isn't just about the foods that people eat. Okay. It also is about the environment that your body internally has. So if you're in a highly stressed environment, you got a poor relationship with your family, you got an in and out relationship with your partner, you're worried about the future, you got depression about the past, you're creating an internal environment that's extremely acidic, right? So what's the opposite of ease? Dis-ease.
Yep.
Okay. Which leads to disease. So all these people that think that what goes on in here doesn't matter, matters. What goes on out here it's everything. You can work out, you can come in here and work out all day long. You can eat all the good foods, but if if you're not at ease, you don't have peace, it's gonna be a tough deal.
Stress hormones are the number one causer of cancer, essentially, because all the cortisol it releases causes inflammation, causes cancer.
Do you know Dr. Joe Dispenza?
The man. He is the man. He's literally, when I hurt my head, he is like the person who was like, you can rewire your brain to work like this. And I was like, you're fucking stupid, dude. Who's this witch doctor over here spouting this bullshit? And then I started doing it. I was like, am I in the Matrix right now? Dude, I swear he makes you think you're in the Matrix.
He's the man. Have you seen the I think I've already asked you this question, but the documentary Heal?
Yes.
On Netflix? Okay.
No, I've not seen Heal on Netflix, but I've seen a documentary with him in it that's really good. And it wasn't the whole documentary, but I think they might have taken it from that one and put it on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken.
Essentially what he says is anytime you have a thought, there's a messenger that is asking your body to release something. So if you have a thought about the future, right, which we would deem what anxiety is just futuristically worrying about something, putting it lightly, then you have all this chemical reactions inside of your body. That doesn't create an environment for your body to lose weight, to be healthy, etc. So your thoughts are really creating the internal environment, which is then creating your entire reality.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody out there is going to say, well, this and this. There's always outliers to everything, okay? But if you really think about it, people who get really sick, and I'm not talking about all the other things, we can talk about heredity, we could talk about all kind of stuff, okay? But like when you get sick a lot, you always got colds, you always got migraines and things of that nature. Instead of looking at it from the standpoint of, well, I'm exercising, I'm doing this. Okay, what's your internal environment look like? Do you got a super high stress job that's stressing the shit out of you that you can't, you're just unhappy? Sometimes you got to change things. I'm not articulating this well, okay? I know that, but I hope if you are listening, again, we don't care if you are, if not.
His quote on creating the future, not by the known, but by the unknown. It's like something along those lines is so dope. He's just like, anxiety is focusing on something that you may or may not have control of, but it's better to essentially dive into something that you're completely unaware of, because you don't take that anxiety into it. You're like, I've never done this. I've not built a reaction to this. It's going to be a new reaction. So your brain is not like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? It's really like, even though like it knows, it's like, this is what happens when I think of this girl. I get sad and I cry, or this is what happens when I'm thinking my job. I get a headache. That's literally your body telling you to stop thinking about that shit. People don't realize that. Like, people are like, man, I don't know why I'm so anxious. I got depression and sad. Because you keep thinking about it. It's like we talk about all the time. It's like you keep saying you're depressed. So guess what? Your body, literally, Joe Dispenza talks about that. He's like, what you say and the things that you do will literally make you. So if you were constantly like, I'm depressed, I'm sad, I got the worst job, guess what? You are going to be sad. You are going to be depressed, and your job is going to suck. It doesn't matter if you have the best job. It's all about framing your situation and finding a way to take something positive from it, no matter how shitty it is, because it's happening. You can't take it away. It's happening right now. So you better take something good from it, or you're going to be stressed and you're going to get cancer. And I'm sorry if that stresses you and gives you cancer, but it's just, our body can fight that. And honestly, every day our body's going to make cancerous cells potentially. So it's like, it's really important for us to be maniacally focused on that. Like, someone cuts you off and you're like, you motherfucker, I'm going to fuck you up, piece of shit. Why'd you do that? Literally, why do people get road rage? And it's just, and the thing is, they're like, man, they did that on purpose. So I'm like, they didn't know. You think someone was just like sitting there and like, here comes JB, I'm going to cut him off. No one's doing that shit. And to think, it's our ego is honestly what kills us more than anything almost. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Because it has to be right. It's the first priority of your ego is to be right. So all that story you've painted about yourself, it's telling you that it's true. Mm-hmm. So all that times you've told yourself you're not enough, you're not good enough, you're this, you're that, it's trying to tell you that you're right. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's wrong, because you don't have problems. You're not wrong. There's nothing you do that's wrong. Okay. Wrong is a judgment. It's a judgment we put against ourselves. Well, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, but you did. So who's to say whether that was right or wrong?
Dude, have you ever heard about demons? Like, it's not really like DEMONs, but like it's
demons. Like the boogeyman?
DAMEONs is what it's called. Actually, Patch Drury and I've been he's been posting some stuff about it, and we've been talking back and forth. And it's just talking about, it's a Nietzsche thing.
Nietzsche.
And he's just talking about how we all have our demons and how we should act within them because they are a part of who we are. And it's not like he's saying, like, if you're a murderer, go murder people. He's just like,
right.
there's a reason that our brain is probably telling us to do something. And he's like, and a lot of the times it's not wrong. He's like, how many times do we fight against our own instincts and the things that tell us to do? And he's like, your brain's telling you to do this because it's probably going to help you survive. And he's like, so when you're sitting there and you're all stressed out, and he's like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, it's because you worked against your demon instead of like going with it. And he's like, when you do that, it really does bring demons into your life. Like you're ironically, by not falling into that urge to do something, that reptilian brain that's like, do you need to do this? Like, why are you not doing this? And that's what gets you so stressed out. Literally, just like, I have this big to-do list and I keep on procrastinating, and I'm like, why am I so stressed? It's like, I don't know. You made a big to-do list and you keep procrastinating. You literally explained it yourself. Like,
right.
When you start knocking those things off that list, and if you don't really make if you don't make a to-do list, your brain still is thinking about it. And it's a mechanism of survival as well. This was for when we were hunters and gatherers. When you check things off a to-do list, your brain gets a big, beautiful cocktail of things, and it's happy. It's like, I did something. Yeah.
Dopamine gets some dope.
and because that encourages you to do it again. That is a mechanism of survival, because when you eat that good food and your body's like, oh, that was good, I feel so much better now. Then your brain's like, you're rewarded. And
right.
That whole reward system is like that for everything. It's not just for food. It's for, did you have an urge to masturbate and then you didn't do it? And it's like, this dude is literally like, if you have that urge, fucking do it. Sorry I said it, but like, he's like, your brain will literally fight you on your urges. If you're like, I'm hungry, do it. What's happening?
We have taken this to another stratosphere.
I'm just saying, the dude is like, Nietzsche is explaining that we have these things within us, and it's up to us to act on them and to not run away from them, or they're going to create a bigger void and a bigger issue in our life.
So here's what I hear you saying. I hear you saying you have to trust your gut.
Yes.
Right. Your second brain. There's more neurotransmitters in your gut than there is in your brain. Okay. Which is nuts.
And you know that I think we've actually talked about this briefly. Your nervous system, you think it goes from here down, but actually the way that your body works is it sends signals from wherever your nervous system is to your brain in order to make it function. And I was like, that's not how I would have figured that's how that works, but it's
the same relationship. That same thing as the relationship between, and I'm going to butcher this, okay, but with thunder and lightning, because we all think that, thunder comes first and then lightning, right? But lightning comes from, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. It comes from the ground, but it looks as if it's coming from the sky.
Yeah, it's because there's like a static energy that's created from the Earth's magnetic pull, and then also from the magnetism in the cloud. And it literally is like, and then there's a
exactly. That's exactly how lightning happens.
That's what's crazy when people get struck by lightning. I'm like,
I knew someone who got struck twice.
Dude, did it make them look weird?
Nah, she's as cool as the other side of the pillow, man.
I know this is a movie, but I just watched Angelina Jolie's new movie the other day, and she gets struck by lightning, and it literally like cauterizes her veins, essentially. Not like really, but like you can see where like her veins are like fried a little bit, and you're like, what the? Like, it's crazy looking if that's really what happens.
Oh man, we have covered it all today.
Masturbation, electricity, brain working. Sorry, Mom.
Oh, good Lord.
My mom's a big fan. I know she watches.
Your mom is great. She comments sometimes on my stuff, likes it. Yeah, I mean she's all over it.
My mom is me at like 10:55 and was like, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Ha ha, just kidding. I know it's Buff and Shuck at 11."
Thanks, Mom. What's interesting is I can never tell if it's my mom or my dad doing the Facebook, because my dad will get on my mom's Facebook and look at things, and I don't know why he does that. Okay.
Just make her own, Dad.
He can't. No. Listen. He learned how to use YouTube. I'm proud of him. But
there's actually a movie that just came out where the dad has to learn how to use YouTube, and he like is freaking out. I was like, I don't know how to use it. What is the YouTube?
Oh God. Oh, okay. Well, this has been listen. I hope you've been informed and entertained because we're
Not a
here
lot
to
of
be
information today. More
not a
entertaining.
lot of information, but we were at CrossFit. We talked about stroking the carrot. We've talked about uh, lots of things. Anyways, I hope everybody has a great day out there in TV land, and we're gonna do this again next week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The train keeps rolling.
Probably for the rest of our lives until we get canceled.
Good thing we're on our own platform. Unless Facebook bans us, we're good to go.
Right. Don't ban us, Bookface.
Dude, how can we say some of the shit we say on here and then I type words like, I'm going to shoot you a message? And the word itself written is bad. But when you say the words that we say, they don't do anything. Does that make sense?
I think it's difficult because it's video for them to be able to really I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it is a protection of our First Amendment rights to have freedom of speech, and we're not saying anything that I think violates the community thing. I mean, we're not being hateful towards any particular thing of people. We're just being us.
Everybody. So that's they can't really get us when we're like that.
We love everybody.
Oh yeah, I meant love everybody.
See y'all. Bye bye. Woo!